Hello.
Salut, comment allez-vous? What would you say to this? Many people could tell what this language is just by the way it sounds. But if you can't tell, this is a phrase in French. French is just one of 6,500 spoken languages in the world, according to infoplease.com. Nowadays, 40% of the world knows only one language. The remaining 53% of the world speaks 2 or more languages, according to ilanguages.org. You would think with these statistics that the United States would be at some level fairly bilingual. But it's not. The statistics show difference. The U.S. is only about 20% bilingual, according to PuertoRicoReport.com. Most, if not all, high schools require their students to take at least 2 years of a foreign language. From my mom's experience, she said most of the kids from my high school that took a foreign language didn't continue on with the language. This leads to the question of why is it important to learn a foreign language? Learning a foreign language will open you up to another culture, help you learn more about your own culture, create long-lasting relationships with people from a different culture, and set you apart from other people when pursuing a career. Let's take a look at the ways that knowing a language can benefit you. The first part is how people and culture are a benefit of learning a language. First, it helps you create relationships. By learning a new language, it can help you make friends from other countries. Most of the time, when you make friends with someone, you will create a long-lasting friendship with them. Second, it helps you show respect for people. You can show respect for people by learning their language. By doing this, you show them that you care enough about them to connect with them and their language. People from a different country would be so thankful that you took the time and put in the effort to communicate with them. Third, it breaks down barriers between people. You break down barriers between people when you learn their language and learn about their culture. This then shows people that you are not confined to your own country and want to learn more about the world. Third, or fourth, you can learn more about the world around you. By learning about a different culture/language, you can learn so much about the world that surrounds your country. You learn all about the countries that speak the language you are learning and can find out more about their culture. You learn about the culture and how it affects you. In most cases, if you are learning a language, it is probably one that has to do with some part of your own culture. For example, I am learning Spanish, so I am able to speak with my Puerto Rican side of the family. By learning about a culture/language that relates back to your own culture, you can learn so much about your ancestors and your family. Last, a big benefit is that travel is easier when visiting people or cultures. If you know a language, you can travel to a country or countries that speak the language. It will be way easier when you are exploring that country if you know that language. The people of that country will also appreciate you knowing it. Even though many people from different countries speak English, you never know. My quote is, "Each friend represents a world in us, a world not born until they arrive, and it is only by this meeting that a new world is born." Second part is how you can learn about your own culture. You can learn more about your own language. When you learn another language, you start to realize that you don't know much about your own language. What I mean by this is you start to realize how the grammar of your learning Spanish, I learned more about how to grammatically say the things the correct way. You can also learn more about the history of your own culture. Like I said before, you can learn about your ancestors and family, but you can also learn how and when the culture came into being. Last, you can research how your culture reacts with other cultures. You can find out where your country stands in relation to other countries. You can learn how your culture gets along with other countries, and you can also see where your country ranks on an economic scale. My quote is, "Travel early and travel often. Live abroad if you can. Understand cultures other than your own. As your understanding of other cultures increases, your understanding of yourself and your own culture will increase exponentially." The last major part is informative on how learning a language helps you when pursuing a career. It sets you apart. What I mean by this is it makes you unique to all the other people that have applied for the job. You can communicate with people for business. By knowing a different language, companies will use you when wanting to communicate with people from a different country. A major career that deals with this is international relations. It is also proven you can receive a higher salary. A big question that people often wonder is, will knowing a second language help me receive a higher salary? The answer is yes. According to financeandcareer.com, the average worth of a foreign language is $67,000. Spanish is worth $51,000, French is worth $77,000, and German is worth $128,000. It also makes you have a better appeal to global companies. If you work for a company with locations all over the world, you could potentially be offered a job overseas to work for that country. And last, you could also have more opportunities globally. You could potentially move to a different country and seek employment in the country you know the language is. Working abroad makes you a citizen of the world. So, finally, looking back, there are many reasons why it is important to learn a foreign language. Learning a language will immerse you with a different culture and the people from that culture, help you learn more about your native culture, and set you apart. If you do learn a different language, you will benefit in all these different ways and many more. I challenge you to get out there and surround yourself in a culture and learn a new language. Arrivederci.